Golden airplane in the stormy sky. Characters. 1. Victor 45. A high-ranking auditor, a human scanner who sees only mistakes. His life is a sterile apartment, impeccable reports, and a complete lack of taste for life. 2. Vitusha 6-year-old. Victor's inner child, a bright boy with pollen-stained knees, who once believed that the world smelled of adventure. 3. Eris, librarian of echoes, an entity guarding the memory archive. He looks like a man wearing a cloak made of old letters and photographs. 4. Architect of ice, the part of Victor's psyche that is responsible for control. He is convinced that feelings are chaos that must be frozen in order to survive. Part 1. The Sterile World and the Whispers of the Forgotten. Victor was sitting in his office when a thunderstorm began outside the window. He hated thunderstorms. They were unpredictable. Suddenly, the light flickered, and in the silence, Victor heard a strange sound. It wasn't thunder, it was the rustle of paper, as if someone was launching an airplane. On his perfectly clean desk, out of nowhere, a piece of paper, folded in the shape of an airplane, appeared. The paper was old, yellowed, and there was a small, bright star painted on the wing. As soon as Victor touched it, the walls of the office began to be covered with frost. The air began to smell not of air conditioning, but of rain, nailed dust, and dandelions. The system is malfunctioning. Victor, a cold voice rang out in his head. It was the architect of ice. Throw it away. This is garbage. This is irrational. But Victor could not. He clutched the airplane to his chest, and the floor beneath his feet turned into a thick fog. Immersion point. Close your eyes. Imagine that your familiar world, office, apartment, street begins to slowly melt away like the scenery in a theater. What remains in the center? What smell from childhood could break through your adult armor? Part 2. Descent into the Cellars of Memory. Victor fell for a long time, but landed softly. He found himself in an endless corridor where the walls consisted of hundreds of drawers. Eris was waiting for him here. "Welcome to the vault," said the librarian. "Usually, people come here to burn their pains, but you came for something rarer. You're looking for the spark." "I just want this to stop," Victor whispered. "My heart hurts. Although the doctors say that I am healthy, your heart doesn't hurt. It's suffocating." Eris pointed to the lower tier of boxers that were littered with heavy stones. "There, under the layers of your must, you have to be the best, and men don't cry. There's something very important hidden." Eris handed him a heavy crowbar. "You'll have to break the layers of pain yourself. I can only hold the lamp." Part 3. Layers of Pain. Victor began to work. It was exhausting work. 1. The first layer was gray and heavy. It was a layer of comfortable child. Memories of how he sat quietly so as not to anger his father. How he stifled his laughter so as not to disturb his mother. Victor broke this concrete, and his hands trembled. 2. The second layer was icy. It was the trauma of loss. The day his beloved dog was given to a shelter without asking him. Because it's easier that way. Victor cried as he broke that ice, and his tears instantly turned into icicles. 3. The third layer was prickly. The expectations layer. All those moments when he achieved success, not for the sake of joy, but in order not to feel insignificant. The architect of ice stood nearby, trying to interfere. "Enough. You're destroying your structure. You'll become weak. Look at you! You are covered in dirt and tears." But under the last stone, Victor saw a faint golden light. Reflection point. Think about which stone in your life is the heaviest. Is it someone's expectation, an old resentment, or a ban on showing weakness? What will happen if you put this stone aside right now? Part 4. Meeting at Dandelion Hill. Having broken the last layer, Victor found himself on a sun-drenched hill. It was a place from his childhood that he had completely erased from his memory. There was so much light that it was painful to watch at first. In the center of the hill sat Vitusha. The boy was launching the same paper airplane. He did not see Victor. He was completely absorbed in the moment. That was the day Victor first realized that he was alive. He was just running on the grass, and the wind was whistling in his ears. And there were no grades, no rules, no tomorrow. It was only now. A moment of pure, wild, unadulterated joy. Victor came closer. He saw the boy laughing as the airplane described a loop in the sky. "Hello, adult," Victor said quietly. Vitusha turned around. His eyes shone so brightly that the architect device inside Victor began to melt, turning into clear water. "Oh, you've come," the boy rejoiced. "Look how it flies. I thought you forgot how to look up." Victor sat down on the grass next to the child. He felt the warmth of the sun penetrate through his expensive jacket. He suddenly remembered the taste of that very joy. It was the feeling that the world is a huge playground created especially for him. Part 5. The Golden Spark. I hid this feeling so deeply because I was afraid that it would be taken away. Victor whispered, "You can't take it away if you don't give it yourself." Vitusha put the airplane into Victor's hand. "This joy is your fuel. Without it, your reports are just dead paper." Eris walked over to them. "Now you see, Victor. The pain did not destroy the joy. She just created a cocoon. But without this spark inside, the cocoon turns into a coffin." Victor hugged his little self. At this moment, there was no division into an adult and a child. The past and the future collapsed into one point. The light from the Dandelion Hill filled Victor's entire being, burning out cold, fear, and eternal guilt. "Come with me," Victor said to the boy. "I'll build a place for you in my world. No more sterile offices. We're going to add some sky there." Epilogue. Victor opened his eyes. The storm outside the window subsided. The lights in the office were on steadily. A paper airplane was still lying on his desk. Victor did not throw it away. He put it on a shelf next to important awards. He walked over to the mirror. The same man was looking at him from the reflection, but there were vivid wrinkles in the corners of his eyes that had not been there in the morning. He picked up the phone and called an old friend with whom he had once dreamed of building a boat for the first time in 5 years. "You know," Victor said, "I was thinking, let's build it. I have a blueprint." He smiled. It was not the usual smile of politeness. It was the smile of a man who had just regained his most precious treasure, the right to unreasonable happiness. Practical task for you. End of the session. This story is a metaphor for the decapsulation of joy. 1. Remember your golden airplane? What was the simplest action that brought you pure delight as a child? Running through puddles, reading under the blanket, building a hut. 2. Do micro-integration. Write today or tomorrow. Allow yourself to do this action for at least 5 minutes. Not for the benefit, but so that your inner child feels that he is heard. 3. Fix the feeling. When you feel that spark, say to yourself, "This is my true nature." The rest is just scenery.